Namaste everyone. I am Aavash Raj Upadhyay and I am the priest of this Sangonarayan temple. I am associated with all the daily rituals of this temple in the morning and in the evening every day, and I'm also responsible for conducting all the festivals and other rituals of this temple. Sangonarayan is one of the oldest and one of the important Vaishnava temple in Kathmandu Valley. We have a concept of four Narayan temples, of which Changunarayan is one of the oldest. We have an inscription in Sanskrit of Manadeva, a Lichavi king, from 464 AD. That's written in Sanskrit and in the Lichavi script. Uh, that is regarded one of the oldest dated inscription of Kathmandu Valley, and it is from where the Nepalese history begins. Next, we have other inscriptions that shows about the history of this temple and the relation with Sanskrit language as a whole. We have inscriptions from Amshuvarma time, and we have other inscriptions from Lichavi times, and even from medieval and the late Shah modern times. So most of them uses Sanskrit in their descriptions. Uh, Changunarayan is actually one of the prominent place in context of Vaishnavism, Shaivism and Shaktism. We have a Shiva temple dedicated to Shiva known as Kileshwar Mahadeva, and we have a Shakta temple dedicated to Chinnamasta Devi, one of the prominent Dash Mahavidya Devi. Uh, One of the important aspect of this area is it includes a tradition of Vedic culture and Tantric culture, including some aspects of Vajrayana culture. So overall, all these things are related with Sanskrit language. Most of the literature that we have and the ritual manuals that we have are all based on Sanskrit. So even in the daily worship, we use the Vedic mantras that are one of the root Sanskrit texts, and then we use other Sanskrit languages in the whole puja, like the Stotram, the Vishnu Shatpadi Stotra, Sri Sukta, all of which are in Sanskrit, and this is one of the prominent languages that we use in all the rituals here. The same is the case with Kileshwara Mahadeva and also Chinnamasta Bhagavati. Chinnamasta Bhagavati has a tradition of the chanting of Devi Patha that we call Chandi or Shaptasati Chandi, the 700 lines of Devi Chandi, and that is chanted here, and it is also one of the prominent Sanskrit texts that belongs to the Markandeya Purana. So that is performed by the Karmacharya priest here. In the Kileshwar Mahadeva, the Bhatta priests, who also belong to the Sanskritic tradition, and in the Narayana temple, we Rajopadhyayas perform these rituals, all in Sanskrit language with the Vedic or the Puranic texts. So I'll discuss the relation between Changunarayan and the Sanskrit language in three different aspects. The first aspect is that of inscriptions. We have old inscriptions that are all in Sanskrit language, and we still use the Sanskrit language in those inscriptions while reciting the Jyotisha or the positions of the different planets. So those are all described in Sanskrit language. Even in the medieval times, when other languages like the Nepal Bhasha was more prominent, or preliminary Nepal Bhasha was more prominent, the description of this time was described in Sanskrit language. Another aspect is while describing the titles of the kings, these are also described in Sanskrit. Just like there's a line called Swasti Se Giri Raja Chakra Chudamani Nara Narayana Ityadi, etc. So these are descriptions of the king in Sanskrit language, and that is from the modern times. So we have that tradition in inscriptions up to the modern times even. Then the next aspect is the ritual aspects. So be it in the daily rituals or other special festivals, we perform all the worships, be it in Changunarayan, be it in Kileshwara, or in Chinnamasta temple, or other small temples around this place. We perform those rituals with primarily Sanskrit language as the base. Next, even in those rituals, we have some texts that we follow. For instance, the Vishnu Shatpati that was written first by Shankaracharya. We have that text that is in practice. We have this Vedic Rudra chanting. We begin with the chanting of the Ganesha, just like there is a Sukta, Ganananta Ganapati Gum Havamahe, Priyananta Priyapati Gum Havamahe, Nidhinanta Nidhipati Gum Havamahe, Baso Mama, Ahamajani Garvadama, Tomajashi Garvadamma. So these texts that are originally from the Shukla Yajurveda, these are recited even in the Narayan temple and also the daily Rudri Patha in the Kileshwar temple. And in the Chinnamasta temple, we have different hymns that are dedicated to Chinnamasta, as in Chinnamasta Tantra, or also other texts that are related with Bhagavati or the Kali or Durga. So for instance, the Durga Shaptashati. This is one of the prominent texts that is still in practice, that is still in use, and those are conducted by the Karmacharya priests, who are non-Brahmanic. We have the practice of recitation of the Durga Shaptasati by Karmacharya priests who are non-Brahmanic in nature. And next, we have the tradition of learning and studying Sanskrit in a very traditional way, of course. So, when we are initiated inside the Changunarayan temple, we have to learn different subjects, but it's only for 4 days, so it's not possible for us to learn everything in during that 4 days. But still, we have the practice of uh, learning for some time different aspects of Jyotisha, different aspects of Sanskrit grammar and Sanskrit literature, including these Vedic and Tantric traditions. And we focus specially on the rituals of the Changanayan temple. So we also have some traditional bhajans, the hymns that are dedicated to different gods, including Narayana, Shiva, and Devi, which are composed in Sanskrit, and they are meant to be sung, and they are sung during the last Wednesdays of every Hindu month. So these practices are still prevalent here. So, in my opinion, I think Sanskrit language is still very useful, still very practical, because it has a lot of qualities that are still prevalent now. Basically, one of the basic importance of this Sanskrit is we have that system of, for instance, in the Panini grammar, we have a system of the logic, where this is if these are the cases and if these are the conditions, then it happens. The result is this. So we have that logic sequence, which understanding which is a very complex idea and a very mindful exercise. So this is one of the most important part of Sanskrit that we need to keep on, and that trickles our brain. So it is very important for us. Number one. Second, we have all those rituals that have been transferred to us for thousands of years, at least 1,000 years, or for many centuries that we have known. So all those knowledge are preserved in those Sanskrit texts or Sanskrit language. So the idea of reviving or continuation of this Sanskrit language is still very important, and we have to have this schools of learning Sanskrit, at least for the Brahminical traditions to continue, and also for the non-Brahminical traditions. For instance, we have this Bhandari or the Bhadel of Changunayan temple, who are also entitled to perform or to recite those hymns. So this is important for them as well, and for also the Karmacharya priests and all other priests, all other initiates and non-initiates even, who are related with this Sangunayan temple, Chinnamasta temple, or the Kileshwara Mahadeva temple. There are a lot of things that are need to be done inside this Sangunayan premises, where Sanskrit is one of the most prominent languages. First, there need to be schools where Sanskrit teaching and learning should be promoted, and it should be continued. Second, we have, since Sanskrit is regarded as the language, the vehicle to talk with the gods, so to have conversation with the gods. So it is always very important in the rituals and also for the devotions towards the gods. We have some other traditions that are connected with Sanskrit, where we connect these rituals or where we connect these idea of connection with the Supreme Being, where we ourselves uplift our own subjectivity to connect with the Paramatman or the Supreme Being. So, in such cases, we need to have those philosophy understood, which is possible only with the help of Sanskrit language. And this language serves as a vehicle to learn many other uh, literature, many other subjects that are coded in Sanskrit. So, for that knowledge to exist and for the continuation of Changunarayan rituals as a whole, we need this Sanskrit language dearly in this place. My favorite shloka in Sanskrit, since I am the priest of Changunayan temple, it's a hymn dedicated to Lord Narayana that says, Om Namastu Anantaya Sahasramurtaye Sahasrapadakshi Siroruvahave Sahasranamne Purushaya Saswate Sahasrakoti Yugadharine Namaha. So it's a hymn that is dedicated to Lord Narayana, who has this thousands, Sahasrakoti, 1,000 crores Aksha. Sasakoti Yugadharani Nama. So he bears the weight of that universe, or the multiverse, in fact. Thank you so much.